Alright guys, episode 50 rolls on. We're here with the midweek wrap-up. Actually, I'm by myself this week, unfortunately. Thomas Wolf is on his limited schedule as usual, and unfortunately, Kevin Hawk sustained an injury a couple days ago, so he will not be with me today. He may be back tomorrow for the SmackDown Rundown, but as of right now, this is the midweek wrap-up. I am Travis Colt. Let's get into it. So we're going to start off with the main event like we usually do. We opened up with some tag team action. We're starting to build towards Elimination Chamber, which is this Sunday on the WWE Network. Why don't you have it if you don't? We had the Primetime Players taking on the Ascension. Primetime Players were totally in the zone. The Ascension took the advantage for a little while, even though Darren Young was doing some weird... He was really getting into it. There was a lot of extra movement. It was a little weird. But the Primetime Players start to get the momentum back. Titus O'Neil gets the hot tag, starts running through the Ascension. He's kind of double teamed at one point, but Darren Young's able to vault Victor over the top rope. He lands on the outside. Connor goes over, knocks Darren Young off the apron, but he walks right back into the clash of the Titus O'Neil picking up the win for the Primetime Players. Both these teams looking to get the championships this Sunday at Elimination Chamber. Will they be able to? We'll have to wait and see. We have Zack Ryder, fresh off of his big moment on Raw, the open challenge against John Cena. He's taking on Heath Slater. Slater's doing some great stuff, just really playing up his character. He's always really good at that. Zack Ryder is really in the driver's seat for some of this. He starts getting all of his usual moves off. He's really taking it to Slater. Hits the broski boot. He's about to hit the Rough Rider, and Slater actually vaults him up over him. He hits his face on the top turnbuckle, gets hit with a reverse cutter by Slater. I thought that was it. Zack Ryder kicks out. Slater's frustrated. He ends up picking up Ryder, goes for a suplex. Ryder reverses the suplex, bounces off the ropes, hits a boot, knocks down Slater. Slater gets back up, turns around just in time to hit with the Rough Rider, and Zack Ryder picks up the win. So, I'm kind of hoping this is a push for Zack Ryder. With the big moment he had on Raw, he gets a win on main event. Maybe he'll do something tomorrow on SmackDown. We'll have to wait and see. I'm hoping he does. Up next, we had Nikki versus Summer Rae. And I was watching the match. I said, all right, Nikki, show me something good. Give me something to really care about. And right off the bat, they have a huge botch. Summer is on the outside. The ref is trying to pull Nikki off of her. She goes for a punch. She doesn't even hit Nikki. And then she goes in. I don't know. It was just so bad. These main roster girls are just so clumsy. And after what we saw last week on NXT between Sasha Banks and Becky Lynch, I'm just thinking, how are these girls not getting any better? They see what their competition is. You're given 5 minutes at least. Do something in 5 minutes. Come on. Anyway, Bree's out there cheering for Nikki. Nikki ends up winning with the rack attack. I was so out of the match after the very first spot, and they didn't recover very well. So Nikki picks up the win, going into her triple threat match where she'll take on Paige and Naomi defending the Divas title. And then in our main event, it was Adrian Neville taking on Adam Rose. Bo Dallas comes out before the break. He's out of commentary with Rich and JBL. Adam Rose makes his way down with Rosa and no rosebuds. And he talks about how, you just didn't get it. I tried to give you the Exotic Express. I tried to give you party time all the time. I tried to give you my rosebuds and you just didn't get it. And now it's gone. So now what are you going to do? You're just too stupid to understand the high art I was trying to give you. And then him and Rosa get kind of gross. It's lovey-dovey, but really awkward at the same time. So it was really weird. Neville makes his way down. Neville's in the driver's seat early on, really taking it to Rose. But he gets distracted by Rosa on the outside after he does a little corkscrew plancha. Rose gets back in the ring, and Neville is trying to get back in the ring. Rosa stops him, and he kind of like does a little spin move around her, jumps up on the apron, but then gets dropkicked right into his injured knee by Adam Rose. So Adam Rose is back on the offense at this point. And, you know, this was probably the best Adam Rose match I've seen in a long time. Like, since he was doing stuff with Tyson Kidd and Cesaro, this is the best I've seen Adam Rose. Like, he was just very committed to his heel character. He's got like a Johnny Depp, Captain Jack Sparrow goatee going on, which makes him look a little creepy. But it really adds to his whole demeanor. Like, he's just got this new attitude. Unfortunately, the attitude isn't enough to save him because, Bo Dallas almost saves him. He gets set up for the Red Arrow. Neville's up there. He's getting ready to hit it. Bo Dallas gets up on the apron. He gets super kicked off, but that allows Adam Rose to do a roll-up. He tries to pull the tights. Neville kicks out. Neville gets dumped out onto the apron, hits an NXT kick, goes up, hits the Red Arrow, and takes out Adam Rose, picking up the win. Bo Dallas even tries to get in again. Neville sets him up for the Red Arrow, but before he can hit it, Bo Dallas rolls out. He backs away. He's not going to deal with any of that because he knows how that feels, and it's not something that he wants to deal with. But he will have to deal with that this Sunday Elimination Chamber because we have them going one-on-one. So did Bo Dallas get in Neville's head enough to pick up a win, or is Neville going to stay on this pretty good streak he's got going for himself? But yeah, all in all, a decent main event. Despite the Divas match, it kind of brought it down a little bit, but the other matches were really good. But then we move on to Lucha Underground. We open up, Black Lotus makes her return. Like, she's back at the temple. She's about to walk in, and she's stopped by Chavo. And Chavo says, whoa. You can't just go in there and just expect to get revenge. You need to go in there. You need to do it in the ring. You need to make it so the world can see. And apparently there's some history between the Guerreros and the Cuetos. Because as we know, Black Lotus was trying to get at Dario's brother, the guy who's locked in the cage. And apparently, the story is that Cueto's brother killed Lotus's parents. So now Chavo's like, hey, my grandfather was there when he killed your parents. The Guerreros and the Cuetos don't like each other, so let me help you, and we'll get this figured out. He's trying to help Lotus get in. I'm just hoping that her wrestling ability really amps up this storyline, because as myself last week, Kevin Hawk, multiple weeks, we've said that it's just weird. It just doesn't seem right. So hopefully when we finally see Lotus in the ring, she impresses us enough to put this whole goofy storyline aside. But our first match of Lucha Underground, we have Aerostar taking on the newly heel Johnny Mundo. And Johnny Mundo is so in the driver's seat for most of this match because he's just got so much more aggression now that he's heel. And he's just ground and pound. He's got some interesting style. Like, I don't know what it is. Like, he's able to take his regular John Morrison, Johnny Nitro, Johnny Mundo, flashy style, but make it just seem dirty and just very aggressive. He's just so good at it. And, Aerostar gets a few shots in there, gets some really cool dives to the outside. But, I mean, it's not enough. Johnny goes for the end of the world, and Aerostar is actually able to hold on to his leg, but that doesn't really last very long. Aerostar goes for a cool flippy move. Mundo ends up catching him, drops him on a backbreaker, goes up, hits the end of the world again, and pulls out the win. And yeah, Johnny Mundo he's looking very strong as a heel, and I'm interested to see where this goes. We have Vampiro talking to Sexy Star about the whole issue with Pentagon Jr. Like, she hasn't heard from Superfly since the whole thing happened. He's been in rehab, trying to fix his arm that Pentagon broke. And it's just, there's a lot of animosity here. And Vampiro's asking Sexy how she feels about it, and she says, Superfly is a friend of mine, and it's unfortunate that he got taken out. And the next time I see Pentagon in the ring, I'm gonna end. Things will end. And now we know. I don't know if it's next week. They didn't specify. I think it might be next week. But we're gonna get Sexy Star versus Pentagon Jr. in a submission match. Now, as far as I can recollect, I don't think I've seen Sexy Star pull out a submission yet. But she is very versatile in different style, Lucha Libre. There's a lot of submissions in Lucha Libre as well. So hopefully she's got something that can really affect Pentagon Jr. because he does have that arm submission and it's never pretty. So then we get our one of two main events here. We get Prince Puma defending the Lucha Underground Championship against Hernandez. Now Hernandez has gone through two different number one contenders matches to get here. He's really got under the skin of Puma and Conan. Now this is so much power versus speed. Even though Hernandez is very fast, he's very aerodynamic, he really takes the aggression to Puma. He's got a new actual wrestling attire kind of look. It's interesting. I'm used to the wife beater and the shorts, but it works. I mean, he's got a whole lucha thing going on, and Puma's trying to go real fast. He gets a little he mocks Hernandez at the beginning, which is cool. He's trying to get under Hernandez's skin, but then Hernandez just really brings it to Puma, there's so many things even Puma even started to play a little dirty. Conan distracts Hernandez long enough for Puma to pull out a chair. Hernandez goes for his dive through the ropes and Puma blasts him in the face. And the ref is distracted by Conan, so there's no disqualification at that point. And then it just goes back and forth. We get Hernandez launches Puma up into the railing around the fans. He ends up doing a corkscrew moonsault it was crazy. He does this trio of kicks to Hernandez, but Hernandez kicks out. He even misses a 630 once. And I'm thinking, okay, I'm kind of waiting for the moment that Conan turns on Puma, because we've kind of seen the building blocks of it, but it doesn't happen, because Hernandez gets knocked down again. Puma goes up for the 630. Hernandez gets up, blocks it, and tries to go for a superplex, but Puma's able to fight him off, hit the 630, and pick up the win. And there was no interference by Conan, and I was actually really surprised about that. So I'm wondering when it's going to happen, because I don't know. It hasn't happened yet, but I know it's going to. When will it happen? I don't know. But then in our main event, we have the death match, the return of Mil Muertes taking on Phoenix. Mil Muertes looks bigger. He's got more tattoos. He's got the contacts in his eyes. He just looks so much meaner. He's got Katrina back with him, and man, she looks good. But he's also got the three skull luchas that we saw kind of attack. Well, it seemed like a dream sequence, but there's three guys, just pretty jacked dudes, coming out in these skull lucha masks, and they follow Katrina around the ring. Now this match, holy shit, Phoenix didn't have a chance. Mil Muertes just destroys him. He gets a few shots in, he's able to, he does he jumps off the banister onto him. He's got a couple cool moves, but nothing good enough to really keep Muertes down, because Phoenix even tries to start the match by diving through the ropes, and he dives and bounces off of Muertes. Muertes is not moving. He fucking drills him in the head twice with a chair, and it is the most ungodly chair shot I've seen on TV in a long time. It's ugly. I can only imagine what it felt like, but it's just continuous destruction of Phoenix. At one point, Muertes goes, you know what, I'm fed up with this, and gets Phoenix up on his shoulders, runs up the stairs, and they start fighting on the little platform. It looks like a little storage closet, and it's right next to where the commentator's table is. So this, they're like, Muertes carries Phoenix up there. Phoenix starts fighting off of it. He's like, no, I'm not going to deal with this. But then he ends up getting powerbombed through the ceiling. And we actually like take a break. The referee's trying to get the door open. There's no one coming out. We come back from the break. They kind of recap it real quick. And then the three guys in the skull mask kick the door down, pick Phoenix up, toss him back in the ring. He gets hit immediately with the flatliner. Muertes picks up the win. We have Katrina give him the lick of death. The death match. It was called a death match. It was really just a street fight. There was no disqualification, but the pinfall or submission had to happen in the ring. That was the only way to win. So yeah, I mean, Muertes has like this little like death group going on right now, and it's very intriguing. So we'll have to see if that was the end of Phoenix or if we get Phoenix return sometime next week, maybe in a couple weeks. But we finished. This was pretty gnarly. Like, this might have been a little too much, but we get Dario talking to the crew. They knew what would happen if they didn't pick up the trios titles in the ladder match. And they're faced with that problem. They're in the room, and Cueto says, all right, you knew what this was. Now one of you has to pay. Now who is it? And they all kind of look at each other. And then Cisco and Cortez grab Bale. And Dario says, okay, against the bars. And so they put Bale against the bars. And Dario's brother, I guess, just grabs him and bashes his face into the bars. There's blood spraying all over Cisco and Cortez. A little bit gets on Cueto's face. And Cueto says, have you learned your lesson? And they say, yes, sir. He wipes the blood off of his face. And that's how he go off the air for Lucha Underground. So I have no idea where that's going. I couldn't even begin to tell you. It was interesting. I can almost guarantee we won't be seeing Bale back in Lucha Underground. But to finish off the midweek wrap-up, of course we're going to NXT. This is the fallout from Unstoppable. This was a great episode of NXT. We open up, Sami Zayn's music's playing, the crowd's going crazy, and out comes Kevin Owens, really playing up the Sami Zayn entrance. He's got the John Cena shirt on. He gets in and he just completely trolls the entire crowd. I was going to come out and do an NXT Open Challenge, but I'm not an insecure person, and if I'm going to fight, I'm going to have someone earn their title shot. I'm not just going to give it to anybody. And, why are you surprised about what I did to Sami Zayn? That's exactly what I told you I was going to do. And, and Samoa Joe, I don't know why he got involved, but, everyone's like, oh, you ran away from Samoa Joe. Well, no, I allowed Samoa Joe to stand tall that night. I gave everyone a positive note to go out on after I destroyed Sami Zayn. And then he talks about how, I could have dropped Samoa Joe like that. And speaking of dropping people, that's what he's going to do to John Cena this Sunday at Elimination Chamber. William Regal makes his way down to the ring, and we have a little face-off between them. Regal is extremely pissed off, obviously. And, he starts saying, since you showed up, Kevin, there's been a lot of people wheeled out on stretchers. There's been Alex Riley. There's been Adrian Neville. There's been Sami Zayn. There's been Hideo Itami. And then Owens goes, no. See, the other ones you can blame me for, but I had nothing to do with Hideo Itami. And he goes, okay, of course you didn't. And he keeps just being really irritating. We get Solomon Crow comes out and says, you know what, I'm tired of listening to this. I'm back there listening, and, you keep saying you're a good guy, but all I see is a piece of crap. And you know what? if the reason you don't do an open challenge is you're afraid that someone could just walk right down the ramp and take that NXT title from you. And Owens goes, well, you know what? I talk about people earning stuff, and I think, Solomon, I think you've just earned yourself a shot. And so right then, Regal makes the main event. We get Kevin Owens taking on Solomon Crowe in our main event of NXT. Then we get that was second part. We get Hideo talking about his, he doesn't know who it was, but he was attacked in the parking lot. He's got the surgery scar, but when he comes back, there's no stopping him. So, unfortunately, the rest of the year we'll have no Hideo Itami. It could be well into next year, almost WrestleMania time next year. And it's really unfortunate because I can only imagine how much cooler the match at Unstoppable could have been, because Finn Balor and Tyler Breeze really brought it. And if you would have added Hideo Itami into that match, I can only imagine how much better it would have been. So we'll have to wait and see what we get with Hideo Itami. We got a couple little backstage interviews from last week's Unstoppable. We had Zack Ryder, who was in the crowd hanging out with Mojo Rawley. Oh, if Kevin and Thomas were here right now, they would be ripping this to shreds, because we all love Zack Ryder, and we're not the biggest fans of Mojo Rawley. So let's just hope this isn't a tag team. Please. But our first match, we had Emma taking on Bayley. This is coming off of the Divas tag match we had at Unstoppable last week. This is a very evenly matched match. Emma comes out to some more aggressive music. It starts off with her usual Emma music, and then it turns into something real, a bit more aggressive, just to kind of fit her style and her look. She brings out Dana Brooke with her. And we get, it was a really good match. Emma was really getting into the physicality, really taking it to Bayley. Bayley tries to make a few comebacks, she's just about to pull out a pretty good win. She goes up to the second rope, and she's getting ready to hit a top rope move, but Emma grabs her leg and tries to do that thing where Emma bumps on the top rope, and it gets me every time because it just looks gnarly. But she grabs her leg. Bayley drops down. Bayley goes for a kick. She grabs the leg, and then ends up rolling her over and getting her into the Emma lock. And Emma picks up the win over Bayley. Doesn't stop here. We get Dana gets back in the ring. We get a double team on Bayley. This brings Charlotte out. Dana goes after her. Charlotte knocks out Dana right on the entrance ramp. Goes in, trips up Emma, starts just pounding on her. Dana gets back in. We get the double team on Charlotte, and Charlotte ends up getting hit with the Michinoku driver, or whatever Dana Brooke is calling her finisher. But she gets hit with the finisher, and we get Dana and Emma standing tall. I'm wondering where this is going, because I can only imagine that Charlotte isn't going to be in NXT for very much longer. So this might be her exit feud. We'll have to wait and see what goes on with that. We get backstage an interview between Renee and Baron Corbin. And Baron Corbin says, you know what, Rhino called me out saying that I was the second unstoppable force in NXT, and I just proved I'm the only unstoppable force. Rhino gets back in, comes up and goes, that was fun. That was exciting. That was invigorating. Let's do it again. And so I'm guessing we're looking at a rematch between Baron Corbin and Rhino. And if it's anything like what they did last week at Unstoppable, I am so okay with it, because that match was the best Baron Corbin match I've seen. And he's super impressive. I want to see him do more, and Rhino is a great opponent to put him against. So let's hope we get another really good match between the two of them. We get the attitude from Alexa. We got a tag team match. We have Elias Sampson, who we've seen a few times, teaming with a guy named Mike Rawless, taking on Blake and Murphy. They come out with Alexa. They've got a whole trios entrance now, which is really cool. Alexa, the attitude looks good. I'm not going to boo you. You look amazing in red. And this is a really good tag team match, even though I was expecting a squash match. Mike Rawless actually gets some offense on Blake early on. But unfortunately, he's eventually taken over. We get very much the cutting the ring off from Elias Samson. Elias Samson does end up getting the hot tag, comes in looking real strong. This guy is super impressive. I'm so excited to see him become a bigger star. Maybe they're going to start him with this tag team. He was originally, he was always a jobber, and I think he's becoming a bit more of a standout. And so hopefully we get a little bit more from him. Unfortunately, his hot tag spot, it gets cut short. Murphy is tagged in at the same time he is, but he ends up tagging Blake back in, hits him with the suplex. Blake hits the frog splash, and the tag team champions pick up the win. Then they knock out Rawless. He goes rolling out to the outside, and Elias Samson gets hit with Alexa Bliss's sparkle splash, just to add a little insult to injury. And then after the break, we have Devin asking Alexa, how did the three of you all get together? And Alexa says, well, Blake and Murphy are winners, and I'm a winner, and winners tend to gravitate towards each other. So, and as far as what happened last week, my issue with Carmella, we have a match next week. And they call Carmella the Princess of Staten Island. She says that Staten Island is known for being a garbage dump. And so next week, she's going to send Carmella back to her garbage dump. I like the attitude. It looks good on Alexa. And I already liked her, so I'm looking forward to more of this. This is... Originally, I was a little skeptical about it just because, Carmella isn't that strong. I was kind of hoping she'd take the heel route so she could, she didn't have to rely on her wrestling skills very much. But, she's kind of getting over now, she's really established herself with Enzo and Cass. So this is a good change for Alexa to be on the heel side. So we'll have to see how that goes. We have Finn Balor take on Ty Dillinger. Ty Dillinger doing some really good heel stuff. He gets a little mocking against Finn Balor, gets some good shots in, but of course, Finn Balor being the number one contender isn't exactly a pushover and really takes it to Ty Dillinger. Ends up hitting what I'm going to call his unholy trinity, since he is the demon. It's the unholy trinity of moves. He hits the sling blade, the shit whip drop kick, which sets up for the coup de grace, and Finn Balor picks up the win. This is all after Dillinger reversed the Bloody Sunday. Like this is something that that Finn used on the Indies as Prince Devitt. Was the Bloody Sunday? It was a reverse neck breaker. It's a reverse DDT, and he keeps trying to get it, and it always gets reversed. So yeah, Dillinger reverses it. He gets the unholy trinity, and then loses the match, unfortunately. But he did look good. I like Ty Dillinger. I like what he does, and I'm glad they're giving him a little bit more of a push. He's starting to pick up some momentum, so maybe he'll get something going on here pretty soon. And speaking of Dillinger, we have Jason Jordan gets caught at the Performance Center saying, the interviewer, we can never remember his name. He goes, hey, people are wondering, what's the future hold for Jason Jordan? And Jordan says, I've got a plan. I've got a game plan. You don't have to worry about me. I've actually got the perfect partner. And then we get Chad Gable comes in and goes, oh, the perfect partner? You've got to be talking about me, right? Like, I was on the Olympic team, and he's just like pretty much thrown out his resume at this point. And Jordan goes, yeah, I know who you are. I know what the Olympics are, blah blah blah. And so Gable ends up giving him a towel that has his name on it. He goes, if you really want to go anywhere, I'm your guy, so, think about it. So are we getting a new tag team with Jason Jordan and Chad Gable? Like, they're both really good. So I'm definitely interested in a tag team of two very solid wrestlers. So I'll have to see where that ends up. I'm not sure. It'll be interesting to see their chemistry together. Two very different styles. But then we have our main event, Kevin Owens taking on Solomon Crowe. We find out that Kevin Owens will be on SmackDown tomorrow. He'll have an in-ring interview going into Elimination Chamber on Sunday. But Kevin Owens and Solomon Crowe is very one-sided. Solomon Crowe tries really hard just to really take it to Kevin Owens, but Kevin Owens is just so smart, and he plays things to his own rhythm. He's just there's no stopping him. Solomon Crowe just really throws everything he has at him, and just keeps getting drilled, keeps getting tossed to the outside. Like, there's a couple times where he almost gets counted out, but he tries. He tries really hard. He gets back in for one final time, gets a really good shot to Owens, hits him right in the jaw, but it's not enough. Owens ends up knocking him down, hits the senton, and from that point on, it is over. Owens picks him up, pops up, powerbomb, 1, 2, 3. Kevin Owens picks up the win, and then he tries to do what we're so used to Kevin Owens doing. He takes Solomon Crowe to the outside. He's getting ready for the pop-up powerbomb on the apron, as he's done to Sami Zayn multiple times. Samoa Joe makes his way down to the ring, kind of has a face-off with Owens. Owens picks up the title as soon as Joe gets in the ring, and Owens powders out. He says, "You know what? I'm giving you a chance." And he points down at Solomon Crowe. He says, "That's a warning. That's a warning to you, because next time that could be you." And so we're really getting a slow burn to that Kevin Owens Samoa Joe match, and I'm super excited for it, because the fact that Samoa Joe is in WWE is so exciting. I can't even begin to describe how awesome it is, but we'll get to see it. If you don't have the network, you should get it, but you should also like, favorite, subscribe. Click all the links down in the description. We have Twitters, we have Facebook, we have Tumblr, we have my Instagram, we have Reddit, we have emails. Email Kevin Hawk if you want to talk about some indie stuff. Email all of us at fanstalkwrestling@gmail.com just for general questions. If you want to, be sure to comment down in the comments. It's the only place you can really comment. Let us know what you thought about Main Event and Lucha Underground and NXT. Let us know what you think about all the other stuff that's going on. Go back. You can, if you want to watch our Raw review, it's just us ripping Raw apart for 19 minutes or something like that. You can go back and watch it if you want. It's in the playlist over there. It was a bad Raw. Luckily, the midweek was fun. Let us know what you thought about the midweek. Be sure to stick around. We have SmackDown coming. We're going to be having an Elimination Chamber predictions. We'll have results next week. So predictions for Elimination Chamber. We'll have indie news coming up this weekend. All kinds of stuff going on in the indie world. So hopefully Kevin Hawk has rested up and is able to come back and let us know what happened at the upcoming shows that we talked about. Be sure to check back to last week's indie news for a little update on what was coming up soon. And be sure to look forward to our results coming this Monday. Thanks again for watching the Wrestling Rundown, and we'll see you at whatever video you decide to watch next.